The Houston Texans take on the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. The Lone Star Showdown takes it to prime time. Let's figure out who is in and who is out in this matchup. Appreciate you tuning in on a Saturday afternoon. The whole week's thrown off with Monday Night Football being the game, and felt like a Friday all day long. And then I realized, oh my goodness, it's Saturday. All that great college football on. Appreciate you taking a break from it to watch this and talk a little bit about who's in, who's out, and why this game means so much for the Texans. Plus, happy to answer some of your questions throughout the course of this one as well. Plenty of fun stuff in the description of this video. Check it out, including a link to the Prize Picks, information about our friends at Platinum AC and Heating, Kicking It with Kunkel episode with myself, Will Kunkel from Fox 26, and DJ Bianame, and so much more. Without further ado, let's talk about this injury report. We'll get to your comments, joys, questions, and concerns over the course of the video as well. The Houston Texans coming into this one pretty healthy based on this injury report. You've got three players that are not playing in this one. Will Anderson, we knew he wasn't going to play in this one based off of the practice trend this week. So no Will Anderson. Thank goodness Danico Autry has been playing as well as he has for the past couple of games. Autry coming along allows you to kind of keep things slow for Will Anderson. If this was a playoff game, I do believe Will Anderson would be playing in this game. It's not a playoff game. It's not an AFC game. It's not a divisional game. So Will Anderson is going to have a little bit more time to rest. And Will Anderson said this year, when he went back and watched himself play hurt last year, he felt like he didn't even recognize the player that was out there. So getting closer to 100% going to be a priority for Will Anderson before he gets back on the field. Folaransu Fatukasi, obviously known as Foley Fatukasi, he's not going to play in this one. Not as significant because the Cowboys can't run the football very well. And you've got Mario Edwards coming back from his suspension. So Edwards will come back. You won't have Fatukasi, but you'll have Mario Edwards. You'll have Kurt Heinisch. You'll have Tim Settle at that defensive tackle spot. They'll dump down some of those ends in the defensive tackle as well. So Fatukasi's been really solid, but man, he's been banged up. I think he's been on every injury report this season, it certainly feels like. And then your other out in this one is Blake Fisher. Fisher being out actually creates a little bit of a question. Should Laramie Tunsil or Titus Howard get dinged up in this game? Fisher's obviously the backup tackle for left tackle and right tackle, but with him out, Nick Broker and Zach Thomas are your options on the active roster if Tunsil or Howard get banged up. And the team could, of course, promote Cam Irving from the practice squad. He's got a lot of offensive line versatility to him, so there's certainly an option there as well. But that's just a little note there about Fisher. If Tunsil gets banged up, if Titus Howard gets banged up, you've got sort of a unique approach to filling in for those guys should they have to miss any time in the game against the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Your two questionables are sort of related and interesting for this team. Kamari Lassiter was on the practice field today. Saw him out there. He's one of the first things that I noticed on the practice field as the DBs warmed up right in front of us. And Lassiter practicing on a Friday, questionable designation. That doesn't mean he's going to play on Monday. We've seen just last week, actually, a player practice on Friday, not play in the game. Same with Jimmy Ward and Azeez Al-Shire. They practiced in the final practice prior to the Jets game. They didn't play in the Jets game. You've seen other players over the course of the season practice on Friday, not play that weekend. Joe Mixon. Now, those were lower body injuries. Jimmy Ward was a hip. Azeez Al-Shire was a knee. Nico Collins was a hamstring. Joe Mixon was I think a calf, if I remember correctly. Concussion's different. To clear concussion protocol, he's got to practice at least once, Kamari Lassiter, which he did today, and then he's got to pass the neurological exam, however the phrasing is on that. So there's an outside chance that Lassiter can play on Monday. Would I expect him to play? No, I really wouldn't expect him to play. You don't necessarily have to have Kamari Lassiter for this matchup, especially if the Cowboys are a little dinged up at their key spot, like we're going to get to here in just a second. But it's a chance. And look, if he clears concussion protocol, play him. This isn't like it's a knee injury or a hip injury or a hamstring injury where you're like, oh my goodness, he gets re-injured. He's out for a lot of weeks. Concussions can happen. But if you want to play it safe, give him one more week. Or if he just doesn't clear concussion protocol, then you can't put him out there. Jeff Okudah, I do believe, will get activated as his 21-day practice window has been opened already. He's practiced a little bit for the Texans. And Okudah will slide in as your backup cornerback behind Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter on the outside. Now, of course, if Lassiter can't go, then Okudah may get that opportunity, or should get that opportunity, I should say, there at the starting cornerback spot opposite Derek Stingley. So you could have Derek Stingley and Jeff Okudah as the starting corners if Lassiter doesn't go. If Lassiter can go, then it's obviously Lassiter and Derek Stingley. That's the Texans injury report. Nothing else really to note. A lot of full participants, including C.J. Stroud with his hand injury. Nothing really to see there because he practiced all week long. Larry Tunsil went from limited to full. He's good to go. So nothing really to see there from the Texans side of things when it comes to the injuries. Now, I do want to bring up the Cowboys side of things because they are very injured. Deron Bland's been hurt all year long. Bland's not going to play in this one either. Jerry Jones said earlier this week he's not going to play. Jordan Lewis, though, is their slot corner, one of their key defensive backs. He's not going to play in this one. He's got the neck injury. Hunter Lupke, he's their fullback. They use him on the offense a little bit. He's also a special teams ace for them. He's not going to play in this one. Zach Martin being questionable is big. That's the best offensive lineman on the Dallas Cowboys. And if they have any sort of success, it's usually because Zach Martin's taking care of his business. He's questionable. That's something to watch. I would tell you Martin probably plays. And then I don't know if you could totally see it here. Maybe I need to, I don't know exactly. That's CeeDee Lamb. This little bar here that you can't totally see here, that's CeeDee Lamb. This is a brand new injury for CeeDee Lamb. He showed up on the injury report with a new injury today, and now CeeDee Lamb is questionable with a back injury. The Cowboys already lack a tremendous amount of talent. They lack depth along their defense, so they're missing cornerbacks. Now you've got CeeDee Lamb banged up a little bit as well, so it gets a little dicey there for Dallas. And if Lamb can't go, which you won't know until you have to turn things in for the Texans, but if you get the sense that maybe he's not going to play, or even if he does play and he's not going to be 100%, Stingley and Okudah, Kadar Holman and company could probably hold that down without Kamari Lassiter for a week. Now, if you do want to play Kamari Lassiter because he clears concussion protocol, be my guest. I'm not going to be upset about that. And Jalen Tolbert's had some nice moments for the Cowboys at the wide receiver spot. So that's something to pay attention to and think about as well when it comes to the Cowboys situation. Is CeeDee Lamb's the only way they can move the ball through the air consistently. I know Jake Ferguson, their tight end's pretty solid, but Lamb's the guy that they can really hurt you. I was with Randy McAvoy and Aaron Wilson doing some stuff with KPRC, and they, hey, what's your key to the game here, Cody? And I said, one of them was, I don't use CDs anymore. I don't have the big booklet where I got to flip through and get a CD and put it in. So I said, eject the CD. Don't let CeeDee Lamb beat you in this game. Because look, if he gets loose and Cooper Rush can hit an open CeeDee Lamb, okay, I don't know that Cooper Rush can go out there and hit a guy in a tight window or tight coverage, but if CeeDee Lamb beats your guy, gets wide ass open, yeah, Cooper Rush can get him the football and can hurt you a little bit there. So you don't want to see that happen. You don't want to have CeeDee Lamb get loose. And if he's not 100%, that just continues to injure the Cowboys' chances against the Texans for Monday Night Football as well. A couple of housekeeping notes that I want to bring up here. Appreciate the folks for watching here on a Saturday. My friends at Platinum AC and Heating want you to give them a call today. My guy Dwyane is the best in the business, 5-star rated by the Better Business Bureau, 5-star rated on Google and Yelp, and he's going to give you a special price for watching the video and seeing Platinum AC and Heating here on the video. He's going to give you a special price on a year-round preventative maintenance package. He just comes out, checks out your AC, makes sure it's running as efficiently as possible. And when it's running as efficiently as possible, you actually save money. When your AC has to work harder, it costs you more money, but Dwyane will take care of you. He is the best in the business, the best service, the best prices in town or with Platinum AC and Heating, and my guy Dwyane. Give him a call today. Give him a call on Monday. You're getting ready for the game, and hey, when the weather cools off, that's the perfect time to make sure the AC is ready when it's got to work all summer next year in 2025. 832-777-3683 is the number. 832-777-3683. It's Platinum AC and Heating. So this Cowboys matchup and this matchup with Dallas for the Houston Texans, it's a little bit of a get-right game. And Stingray here is not confident in this. These type of games, I'm afraid to see Texans don't show up. Now, I feel like actually this is the type of game that if the Texans got any gumption to them, got any intestinal fortitude, got any chutzpah, they're going to show up on this one. This is a perfect spot for the Houston Texans to come in and showcase what they can be capable of when they are right, when they have things clicking. Micah Parsons, you've got to worry about him from the Dallas defense. But outside of Micah Parsons, I'm not super worried about anybody else wrecking the game. Now, obviously, this offensive line has been bad no matter who the defensive linemen have been. So you've got to protect CJ Stroud. But just the way that D'Amico Ryans talked about Stroud on Wednesday, where he said, I want him to cut it loose. Thursday. Talked about him on Thursday. I want him to cut it loose. I want him to be relaxed out there. I want him to, rip it, I think is one of the ones he said as well. Like that to me is like, okay, Stroud's going to go out there. They're going to basically say to CJ Stroud, we're going to make you right. I think for a franchise quarterback, you've had a couple of different things that you can ask of your franchise quarterback. Sometimes it's be you and we'll make you right. And then sometimes it's put the team on your back. Please, God, we need you to save us. And I feel like a lot of this season has been CJ Stroud, put the team on your back. Please save us in this moment, especially when it comes to the offensive line and the pass blocking. But if the Texans could get into a mode on Monday where they say, hey, CJ Stroud, we got a game here, a first game where we're going to have hopefully a full game of Joe Mixon and Nico Collins since week one of the season. We're going to have Nico out here. We're going to have Joe Mixon. This is a bad Dallas Cowboys football team. We're going to take some of the pressure off of you. You go be you. You go out there. Trust your eyes. Get rid of the football. Trust the play calls that we do have. Trust that Nico Collins is open. Get John Mechie to stay on the role that he had coming off of Sunday Night Football. Get Tank Dell going again. Turn it around and hand the ball to Joe Mixon. Put it in his belly and let him take off with this thing. And those five uglies up front, I say it affectionately, the big uglies, are going to take care of you. That's what I really feel like this game and these next three games actually for the Texans could be, is getting CJ Stroud to really accelerate what he does and then making the other 10 guys on the team when Stroud is out there doing his thing, making him right. Okay, trust your eyes, get rid of the football, don't overthink it. Stroud said after the Jets game he was overthinking things, trying to do too much. Hey, do what you see. Let it rip. When you see the guy open, throw it. He's going to go get it. The offensive line is going to give you the protection that you need. That very much feels like what they need to do from an offensive standpoint, is to recreate some of that confidence that they had earlier in the season. Recreate some of that dangerous passing attack that they spent time as the number one passing attack in football early on in the season. Well, they've got Nico Collins back to be able to do that. And by the way, with Nico Collins being back, you can expect a whole lot more out of this passing attack. He makes the other wide receivers' jobs easier. He makes Joe Mixon's job easier. He can win quickly, which makes the ability to get the ball out fast and help the offensive line. Like, there's so many things that Nico Collins brings as a huge positive to the situation. It's a very exciting situation for the Texans when they've got to really put something together offensively. They've got to be much better than they have been on offense. They've got to showcase that. They've got to be good on offense against a putrid Dallas Cowboys team, or then some of the conversations that these players have had in these players-only meetings where they haven't been happy with how the team is playing. And, well, The defense has been playing their ass off, so it's not the defense they're unhappy with. All of a sudden, some of those players-only conversations, they start to go from the back of the mind to the front of the mind, and then you start to worry that Bobby Slowick, the rest of the offensive staff, they turn into Charlie Brown's mom, and it's murmur, 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 and there's not enough time, and there's just not enough offensive aptitude with the coaching staff to fix things. That's where you really get scared if you don't go out there and take care of your business against Dallas. And it doesn't have to be some incredible 56-point output. No. Would it feel good to have that? Certainly. But just making it look easy, consistently moving the ball. Hey, the Cowboys are going to make plays. Hey, they get paid too. Michael Parsons can wreck a drive or a series or even a quarter. He's that good. You can't let him wreck a whole game. But go out there, showcase some of that offense that from early in the season looked easy. That's my biggest gripe is so many offenses around the league, they look easy, and the Texans seemingly never look easy on offense. Go out there, Monday Night Football, Joe and Troy in the booth, a bunch of Texans fans in the stands because they're making the trip because you had this one circled when the schedule came out. Texans fans in Arlington, ready to cheer you on. Go out there, make it look easy on offense, and then put a lot of the concerns with the offense at ease, at least for a week. You got to continue to build on it here with Tennessee at home, Jacksonville on the road before the bye week, but you could start putting some stuff at ease if you could just go out there and make it look easy. And this is a great spot for the Texans to do that. Notice I didn't mention much about the defense. I don't need to mention much about the defense. They should be absolutely ripping the Cowboys' heads off on Monday Night Football. Will Anderson or no, Kamari Lassiter or no, the defense is going to have a big, fun Monday Night Football matchup. DeRhino with a super chat. Appreciate you, DeRhino. Appreciate all the super chats. You jumped to the front of the line. If you have a super chat, he says, hell yeah, Stoots live. And hopefully this will be game that kicks the offense into gear. That's certainly the hope. That's certainly the hope is to kick this thing into gear and make it look easy, put some stuff together. I think the phrase that we hear the Texans say all the time is put it on tape, and put it on tape that you are a dangerous offense. And you've got the ability to do that. And you certainly have the ability to do that if you are the Texans, not only in this matchup, but certainly the matchups that you have coming up on the schedule. DeRhino, appreciate you with the super chat. Jacqueline Hyde with the super chat. I've been hearing that Trey Lance is starting at QB. Should that be a concern? No. Trey Lance doesn't scare me. He doesn't have the arm that he showcased in college. The mobility is actually overrated from Trey Lance. He's actually not some dynamic runner like a Lamar Jackson or anything like that. I know mobility was like a big bonus for him coming out, but nothing in Trey Lance's history should make you any bit worried that he's going to play. And if Cooper Rush gets knocked out or gets benched and Trey Lance comes in, not to worry. He's not a guy that you need to be concerned about. Excuse me. I swallowed a piece of ice there. He's not a guy you need to be concerned about, but appreciate the super chat there, Jacqueline. I appreciate you. As Fred In and Out Mobile Service says, nah, he sucks too. That's one way to put it. It's one way to put it. I would put it this way: if you want to have the best daily fantasy experience, you got to get Prize Picks. You play your first 5, you get $50 instantly when you use my code Stoots, STOOTS, in the link in the description down below. Let's put together a Prize Picks entry right now. They've got all these different sports from hockey to MMA, which is a big MMA fight tonight. John Jones and Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight championship of the world. Basketball. You got college football even. We're going to get to the NFL. And look, I love a little touchdown situation. And I love putting Derrick Henry into my entries with touchdowns. And this little calendar here, you can actually select the games. So we're going to go find Dallas and Houston. So Derrick Henry, we feel like he's going to get in the end zone. I also feel like Nico Collins is getting into the end zone in his return to the Texans. I also feel like Joe Mixon might get into the end zone. What about maybe some Dalton Schultz receiving yards? Because Schultz is going back to Dallas, 28.5. We're going to go more on Dalton Schultz's receiving yards. It's that simple to put together an entry. You just got to have entries from at least 2 different teams. 5 to get you 25. If you use the flex play, I mean, you get 3, you win. You get 4, you win. We're going to go with the power play. And it's that easy to put together a Prize Picks entry. Daily fantasy has never been easier than it is with Prize Picks. So check it out whenever you get the opportunity. The code Stoots, S-T-O-O-T-S, that's S-T-O-O-T-S, will get you that bonus that you see on the screen. Play your first 5, get $50 instantly thanks to my friends at Prize Picks. Appreciate them for sponsoring the video. And hey, go in there and play your first 5 and let's win some, all right? Let's win some. Okay, I got some time. Let's do Q&A. Let's do a little Q&A. Let's do a little chit-chat, whatever you got. Sumo about Trey Lance says, got to watch out for Lance. No film on him this year. We all know how QBs look when they randomly become one. Here's what I would say. D'Amico Ryans, Bobby Slowick, intimately familiar with what Trey Lance brings to the table, having coached him and coached against him in San Francisco. So I'm not as worried about the no film situation when those guys know exactly what Trey Lance is capable of. If you thought 5 interceptions was crazy, wait for Trey Lance. That's funny. I must be Andeline. Luis just says, damn it, Bobby. So working on something. I'm working on a damn it, Bobby sticker for people when the stickers come out. So working on a damn it, Bobby sticker. So Fred says 8 interceptions if Lance plays. That I feel like that's got to be a record. Stingray says, thanks, Cody. Your feedback makes me feel better. I appreciate your input on all the work you do to keep us informed on the Texans. I appreciate you. Appreciate you for watching. Appreciate everybody checking out the live stream. Schultz would enjoy some yards in the old stadium. Yeah, you want to stick it to the Cowboys, their fans, after they were not super nice to Dalton Schultz when he was there? Bubba Homeschool with a unique question. Can we call you Coco Stootsky? Why? Why would you call me that? Sure, I mean, if you want to. Sure. Rye whiskey and Tootski. Okay. Bubba, have you hit the rye whiskey already? What's going on here? Sumo says, sorry, Cody, but throwing Bobby Slowick into anything this year just makes me fear for the worst. Look, Slowick's not have a good year. He's not had a good year. He's not had a good year. Absolutely. I mean, he has not operated well when the offensive line has protected. He has not operated well when the offensive line hasn't protected. He has to be better. He has to operate with a poor offensive line. He's got to figure out how to get that offensive line rolling and give the offense a chance to operate. And if that's not working, then he's got to continue to switch things out on offense until it starts to work. But look, when they've had protection, he hasn't been great. When they haven't had protection, I can't blame a ton on Bobby Slowick for what has been going down with this team on offense, because it's very hard to operate with a poor offensive line like they had. But yes, he absolutely needs to be better. He needs to be better. He needs to be more timely. He needs to trust CJ Stroud more. I felt like they took the ball out of Stroud's hands far too many times against the Detroit Lions. He's got to trust Stroud more. Part of that, D'Amico Ryan's comment about, hey, we want him to go out there. We want him to rip it. We want him to really get after it. We want CJ Stroud to play loose and stuff like that. Part of that's to Slowick too. Hey, he calls the plays, give Stroud the opportunity to do that, empower him to grip it and rip it. Okay. What happened to the big thing on the wall? Jake asked. So I'm glad you asked, Jake. I still have it. I still have my custom 1-of-1 art piece that my friend's wife made for me. I've still got that, but we're switching up the background here. And actually, what I've got on the wall here, right here, I promise I didn't pay Jake to ask about this. But what we got on the wall right here, and I'll take it off the wall to show you. I make these. So this is a one of one. And as you can see, it's a deck of playing cards. And I'll try to get the glare so it doesn't like crush you here. But it's a deck of playing cards. And the cards have the Texans logo and then the king, the queen, the jack, and the joker. And they got the Texans logo and it says, let's see, best team hands down. And this is a deck of cards, and I make these, okay? And if you want to buy one, you'll have the opportunity to buy one. It's actually, you can buy one in the description right now. So this is just, I think this is really cool. It'd be great for a man cave. It'd be great as a present for somebody who's a Texans fan. And I can do a lot of different teams as well, but I made this, and I'm going to have a bunch more of them up on the wall and kind of fill in the wall behind me. Got to figure out how to stop the glare a little bit, but these are cool, and they're one-on-one because you can never get the exact, like those are real cards in there. This isn't a print. Those are real cards in there, and you can never replicate this design because I hand make them. I put all the cards on there individually myself and put it in there and build it all out. So that's what that is behind me. You can buy them. There's a link in the description. Just call it, Texans card wall art or Houston card wall art. And I got this one. I have an Astros one. I can make baseball. I can make college teams. So if you're ever interested in something like this, I do a little bit more than yap into a microphone. Okay. A little bit more. Let's see if I can put it on the wall without breaking anything. Oh, come on. Got it. There we go. So, yeah, thank you for asking about that, Jake. It presented a perfect opportunity. That's crooked. That's going to bother me. There we go. Presented a perfect opportunity to tell the folks about that. Arthur asks, are you going to the game, Cody? I am. I'll be covering the game in Dallas. Got a bunch of buddies that I'm going to get to see on Sunday, tomorrow. Going to hang out with them, watch a little Red Zone. Haven't been able to catch up with the crew and watch Red Zone in years, so the Texans always play on Sunday. So I'll catch up with the guys and hang out with them, and then gonna be in Dallas live on Monday and get the post game from the Cowboys stadium up in there, up in the press box. So, sure. We'll just call you V. V says Texans dropping 40. Wouldn't mind it. I'd love for this game to be over by the middle of the third quarter. I would love that. I would love for this game to be over by the middle of the third quarter. So there's not a lot of worry. You can pad some stats. You can get the starters out and give guys a rest. I'd love for that to be the case. Sumo, do you think Slowick has fully lost his chances of becoming a head coach next year? Do you think Houston will fire him if nothing gets better? No and yes. Has he fully lost his chances? No. They have 7 games. They go on a run. They win in the playoffs. They win 2 games in the playoffs. They win 3 games in the playoffs. Then, yeah, Bobby Slowick's going to be a hot commodity again. But a lot of stuff has to be better. Okay, he's had, let's call it, they've had 10 games. Let's call it 7 games where, like, Bobby Slowick hasn't been good this year and, like, hasn't managed some of the issues that this team has. Let's call it 7 games, okay? He's still got a good resume from last year with a rookie quarterback. So if you were one of these middling teams that has to go out there and get a quarterback, you'd want a guy who has that success. But he's got to be much better. He's got to be much better down the stretch. These final 7 games of the regular season, they got to be excellent in the playoffs. And it would probably take a really deep playoff run for Bobby Slowick to find himself with a chance to be a head coach again. Do I feel like he's going to get fired if things don't get better? Yeah. If the offense continues to be an issue for the next 7 games and the playoff game, they'll have to fire Bobby Slowick. They'll have to go in a different direction. They'll have to either look for somebody else in the tree or they'll have to go to a different offensive tree. There'd be some fun, like, fired coaches that, like, bringing their offense in would be interesting. Like, if Kevin Stefanski got fired by Cleveland, I would love for him to be the offensive coordinator of this team. If Brian Daboll got fired by the Giants, I would love for him to be the offensive coordinator of this team. I'd be interested in seeing what Gerard Johnson has, the quarterback coach, who's had offensive coordinator interviews. I mean, they're going to wipe out everything in New Orleans. You're obviously going to think about the Kubiak tree and the Kubiak system. It's basically the Shanahan system. So Clint Kubiak there in New Orleans. Mike LaFleur in L.A., he's on the Rams staff. He's got a little bit of Shanahan and McVay. I tend to lean a little bit more towards the McVay guys right now. J-Rock says, getting Jared back in the swing of calling protection should also help the blocking. You could see around the fourth game last year, Patterson was really coming into his own. Yeah, you got to get some time together with this new offensive line. They've had one game and a handful of practices. It should get better. It should get better. Sneakers most wanted. Do you think getting Mechie and Hutch involved in kick and punt returns can get them more in a rhythm in games since they are not used that often by Bobby? No. Mechie can't catch punts, and neither can Xavier Hutchinson. If they could, I feel like they would have used them already in this. But I remember, was it last year in training camp, Mechie could barely catch the punts. So they're coverage guys. And actually, Mechie doesn't even get on the field that much in special teams. Heluda, good to see you. Texans Tangents, Cody's cool card art. That's what I'll call the Etsy shop. Cody's cool card art. Or maybe I'd call it Triple C, Cody's cool cards. You know? Coco Stutsky, jack of all trades. Yeah, I guess. Hey, Cody, is Azeez a true difference maker? Absolutely. I mean, they operate better as a defense with Azeez Al-Shaair back there. And he brings an intensity and just a thump to that defense that none of the other linebackers really bring. So, yeah, he is a difference maker. I really like what Azeez has done this year. And Blake Cashman's played really well for Minnesota. And I didn't know that he was going to play this well this year. I thought Azeez was going to be a big upgrade over him. He's been an upgrade to me, but Cashman has handled his opportunity in Minnesota really well. Christopher Jackson, good to see you, Chris. Appreciate you swinging by. Nosh says Texans need to redeem themselves against the Cowboys. Be a start. I'd love a great second half for sure. J-Rock's going to be watching the Manning cast version. I like Brandon's approach. Hey, let's see if the Texans can play well enough to make Bobby Slowick a hot commodity again. Could the Bears look into Bobby? That was the guy that I felt like the Bears would go after in the offseason if he had a good second season. And I even told my Chicago buddies, I said, hey, call me back in the offseason and I can tell you all about Bobby Slowick when he's the head coach for you guys next year. That's who I thought they would go after. He hasn't coached well enough to get that opportunity. He hasn't coached well enough to get that opportunity now, but if you're Chicago, the number one call you got to make is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator in Detroit, and see if you can get him. Lassiter in. Patty, we talked about that at the beginning. I don't believe Lassiter's going to play. He certainly can clear concussion protocol. It'd be very rare to have him clear concussion protocol, but he did have the extra day that some guys don't actually have. From a concussion standpoint. So he had the extra day because they're playing on Monday. So maybe he gets there. I wouldn't expect it, though. Sean G, if Bobby is fired at the end of the season, is Gerard guaranteed to be the OC or they look elsewhere? No, they would not guarantee Gerard Johnson the offense coordinator job by any means. Maybe Mike McDaniel if he's fired. If the Dolphins fire Mike McDaniel, do anything you can to get him here to be the offensive coordinator. That'd be incredible, not only on Thursdays at the podium, but he'd be an excellent offensive coordinator for this team. The Dolphins would be silly to fire Mike McDaniel, but he'd be the first call D'Amico Ryans would make. Any chance the DC is picked for a head coach job? Oh, no, Matt Burke's not getting a head coach job. No. Gerard Johnson, OC, Case Keenum is QB coach. Yeah, Brandon's fine with the succession plan. I think Landry Locker would be in favor of that. Has Dallas released their final injury report? Yes. Lepke and Lewis, two key players for them on special teams and defense, out. Lamb questionable. When did this channel become such doomsday one? Showtime, I'm sitting here telling you they're going to kick the snot out of the Cowboys. But, I mean, here's when it became dooms, when they couldn't get this offense to stick around for games, when they haven't scored a second half touchdown since the New England Patriots in week 6. Like, it's not dooms. It's not over. They're about to win the AFC South and they're going to have a home playoff game. But like, the players have had multiple player only meetings about the team not being successful enough. And they had that first meeting when they were 6-3. Like, there are teams that would stab family members to have a 6-3 record. Like, you want to get a reality check? Go talk to a Raiders fan right now. Like, the Raiders situation is dire. Like, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and the only light that they do see is a train getting ready to run them over again. Like, you think the Cowboys situation is cool right now? They got to fire a head coach they got to get a new head coach in the offseason, someone that's got to play with Jerry Jones, and Dak Prescott may never be mobile again. Like, yeah, the situation sucks within the context of the Texans and what we expected them to be. Compared to everybody else, it is a much better situation. You'd much rather be the Houston Texans than about 25 franchises in the league right now. So, like, yeah, it's not. I don't think this channel's doom and gloom at all. But the offense had 2 meetings about 2 players only meetings about how they wasn't good enough. Like, how could you not be a little concerned? Heisenberg's headed to Memphis and enjoying the stream. Will you be walking in Memphis later? Eros, good to see you, man. Great to see you outside the game the other day, too. Eros. That's what I'm thinking. Who's running back 2 for Monday night? Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce running back 2. He's healthy. He's off the injury report. So Dameon Pierce is running back 2. I don't know that he should be running back 2, but that's what they're going to do. And hopefully you don't need to use Dameon Pierce when the game's undecided. Hopefully Joe Mixon takes care of business. You get a big enough lead, then you're using Dameon Pierce to finish up the game, run out the clock. Noah thinks it'd be funny if Ben Johnson stayed another year. CJ needs to check down to Mixon if the coverage is good. Yes, but Mixon is a great weapon in the passing attack. Great weapon. Biggest draft needs for 2025, offensive guard, offensive center, defensive tackle, just because you've got some guys moving on. Running back, wide receiver. That's where I would kind of stack it. Guarantee doesn't seem like a word our staff would use for anything. Probably. I don't think the Dolphins fire Mike McDaniel. If they do, he gets a head coach job immediately. Yeah, I don't think they should. And yeah, he would be up for a head coach job for a lot of teams right away. But if he didn't get a head coach job, or he wanted to kind of rebuild the resume a little bit for better jobs, Houston would be certainly a great place to do it. If your team is going through a rough patch, just play the Texans. That's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the case on Monday, sir. Come on now. Dylan says it's more about being realistic than being doom and gloom. I mean, I think, I don't think I've been unrealistic with this team for a few weeks now. I don't think it's unrealistic to ask them to just pass block at an average level. Like, that's not unrealistic. I don't think it's unrealistic for them to be able to score points in the second half. Like, I don't think I've been unrealistic for a few weeks with this team. There were some unrealistic stuff that I had earlier on in the season that now we know in retrospect was unrealistic. Sean G, any chance Saleh gets a head coach job next year? Would D'Amico add him to the defensive staff? D'Amico did say he was a mentor in San Francisco. So Saleh's great friends with LaFleur in Green Bay. I would think if Saleh's going to have a defensive role that's not defensive coordinator, then he would be in Green Bay. J-Rock says, I want to see some more J.J. Taylor snaps. I have some bad news for you. I believe J.J. Taylor is going to get cut to make room for Okudah or Mike Edwards. So I have some bad news for you, J-Rock. That's what I think. I feel like he's the odd man out here. Bubba asks, is Gerard Jordan ready yet? I mean, he's on the practice squad. I wouldn't anticipate seeing him. Gage says, why don't we use halfback screens at all? They tried one with Mixon. Was it Green? I think it was the Jets. They tried one with Mixon against the Jets. It went nowhere. They don't time it up as well as some of these other teams. The Lions timed it up perfectly. The Cowboys' run defense is this bad, then I say use this game as testing ground for our RB2. Yeah, I mean it's going to be Dameon Pierce though, you know. Patty Will's out. Christian's still on injured reserve, designated return, not practicing. You think Nate Davis from Chicago, the release player, could help our offensive line? Maybe. I mean, he plays right guard. They don't seem in a hurry to bench Shaq Mason, despite the fact that Mason's playing the worst football of his career. So I don't anticipate that they go out there and add him. They added Cam Irving, who can play a little bit across the offensive line. So Irving is a guy maybe if they wanted to bench Mason, but they haven't shown any inclination to benching Shaq Mason anytime soon. All right, I need a favor. I got a favor to ask from you guys. And you guys do a great job, guys and gals and viewers. You guys, you all do a fantastic job supporting the channel with Platinum AC and Heating and Prize Picks. And I know some of y'all are going to get some card art this holiday season. Again, great gift. You can buy this thing right off the wall. I'll send you one of these. I'll sign it and everything on the back that it's a 101, date it and all that fun stuff. And it's not just these two. I can keep making them more, do other teams. I need some support here. I was on Kicking It with Kunkel with Will Kunkel and DJ Bienemy. And we did basically an autopsy of the offense through the first 10 weeks. And it was a really fun show. But I want you guys to go over there. I want you to obviously hit the like button on that video, just like you hit the like button on this video. But I want you to go in the comment section. The link to this is in the description of this video. I want you to go into the comment section of Kicking It with Kunkel, and I want you to say, "Hey, Will, nice shirt." So if you can just do that for me and be our little joke, Kunkel won't know that it's me and all of you that went there. But just go into the comment section of this video, and it's linked in the description down below. Just go in there and just say in the comment section, "Hey, Will, nice shirt." Okay? And the reason we're going to say that is because 30 seconds before we started filming this, Kunkel spilled water all over his other shirt, and he had to go put on his fancy shirt. He was just wearing a T-shirt. But so go in there and say, "Hey, Will, nice shirt." And I would appreciate that. And this is a good, 25 minutes of conversation, some really good stuff from DJ Bienemy and Will, and obviously yours truly is in that as well. So, yeah, Kunkel was wearing like a nice just like T-shirt. He thought he was like, looking swole, and then he spilled water all over himself 30 seconds before we started filming. And so, hey, Will, nice shirt on that video. It's linked in the description down below. Would appreciate all of you helping me out with that. Let's see. Should you cut Sims if Okudah can return punts, kicks it all? He doesn't. And so I feel like Sims is in danger, though. You need two spots for Okudah and Edwards, and then eventually you'll need a Christian Harris spot. So Sims, J.J. Taylor, Kurt Heinisch, like those guys could be in danger long-term of losing their spots. Hope the traveling Texans show up at Dallas. Yeah, I know a lot of people who aren't traveling Texans members who circled this one and were headed up there. So Brandon says, NFL list of sack leaders is looking kind of crazy. I gotta be honest with you. I haven't looked at that. But let's take a little gander here. Let's take a little gander here at the sack leaders across the NFL. Trey Hendrickson at 11, Dexter Lawrence at 9, Dante Fowler Jr. at 8.5, Will McDonald at 8, Aiden Hutchinson at 7.5, despite having played 5 games. Oh, hello, Travon Walker. 7.5 sacks for the former number 1 overall pick. Wow. Then Will Anderson Jr. checking in tied at 5th at 7.5 sacks. Let's take a little look at this. Yeah, Hendrickson, Lawrence. Let's get this easy. Boop, 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 boop. That look okay? Yeah. Hendrickson, Lawrence, Dante Fowler Jr., who's, I feel like, been on 50 teams. Will McDonald, he hadn't had a sack in a few weeks. Hutchinson obviously hasn't played since week 5, which is nuts. And Will Anderson. Anderson's got a great shot to finish in the top 5. Great shot. especially if he doesn't miss that much time. Got a great shot. All right. Is British Brooks still on the roster? I mean, he's on injured reserve. What's the status of the guy they picked up from KC? Sean, I don't think I know who you're talking about. What about the pickup of Cam Irving? Cam Irving, practice squad guy, might be up this week as a backup tackle, backup other spot option. But just a veteran who is familiar with the team that's hanging around. Luis asks, I feel like the Shanahan offense does not fit CJ. What do you think, Cody, or is it just bad coaching? I think they've had a bad run here on offense. I don't think that CJ fits any offense. And really, you kind of fine-tune the offense to fit the guy. So, not super worried about long-term if you stick in the Shanahan tree. Pierce returning kicks this week? I would think so. I feel like Heinisch does enough in the run stopping for him to be safe. Well, if you have Foley, Fatukasi, and Mike Edwards and Tim Settle, then, can you get away with not having Kurt Heinisch on the team and at the defensive tackle spot? I think he's solidly fine for this team. But with, dumping Autry down there a little bit, I would tell you Heinisch probably is safe. He's very close to the back end of the roster is what I would say as well. Yeah, Dexter Lawrence is nasty. Do you feel our DTs have been better this year compared to last year? I don't know. I wouldn't say. I think they're about the same. I really like what Edwards was doing before he got suspended, and I like what Fatukasi's done. Settle's a nice rotational player and has been asked to start and done really well. So I would tell you the overall defensive tackle situation is better than last year. Oh, Irving was in KC. Yeah, okay. So Irving's, he practice squad guy maybe with a chance to eventually be on the active roster as a backup guy or fill in at guard. Frankie Luvu almost has more sacks than Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. Luvu was a fun option in the offseason. The Texans ultimately went with Azeez Al-Shire and the familiarity that he has with the team. But Luvu was a guy that I really thought the Texans should think about. 7 sacks from him from the linebacker spot. They're using him in a lot different way than the Texans would use him. But Luvu's, we all watched the Panthers game last year. He damn near – I keep calling him Mike Edwards. It's Mario Edwards. You're right. I don't know why Mike Edwards is stuck in my head. Sorry. Who's Mike Edwards? Was there a safety that got cut this week? Yes. Mike Edwards. He got cut this week and then claimed by Edwards's, Mike's, and Mario's. And I'm sorry, Mario. I'm sorry. I like Mario Edwards too. Why do I keep calling him Mike Edwards? Did I call him Mike Edwards in the right? And did I write Mike Edwards? Hold on. At Houston Football? No, I called him Mario Edwards in the Houston Football write-up. Dummy. Yeah, it's brain not working. Brain's all thrown off too. Opinions on the Taco Bell throwback menu. Delicious. The fact that they just used to just call stuff by what the ingredients are is funny to me. Because they literally just call the new one from the 70s, green sauce burrito or whatever it's called. Yeah, green sauce burrito. In the 60s, it's just tostada. Green sauce burrito. Then they kind of came up with the new goofy names, Mexi Melt, Gordita Supreme. The caramel apple empanadas come back next week. So I'm excited for those. Jose, thank you for the correction on that. Bubba says they've been much better. I would say they're about the same. I'd say they're about the same, maybe slightly better. Much better, I feel like would be a hyperbole. But if you want to tell me they're better, I would probably agree with you. Used to hate Taco Bell, but now it's grown on me a lot. And Dylan's excited for the caramel apple empanadas. Maybe we'll do a caramel apple empanada review for the channel. Maybe we'll do that. You know what? Stay here. This is a first in I think we've done a live. Stay here. We're gonna do a live food review. Hold on. All right. We're gonna do a live food review here. I've had these for a few weeks now. I just haven't cracked into them. This is exactly what happened, Texans Tangents. Cody said, wait, I'm hungry. Yeah, no, I am hungry. I'm a huge fan of Dots pretzels. Well, there are two flavors of Dots that I have never tried before. I've never tried the Southwest seasoned ones or these garlic Parmesan ones. Now, here's what I'll say about Dots. They are proud of their pretzels. You can get a giant bag of just regular, not Dots pretzels for way less than what these Dots are. I think they're $6.99 for the big bag here off of Amazon. That's where I got them. I think they're even more expensive in the stores. But I love the OG Dots. They got the cinnamon sugar one. They got the honey mustard one. And I had never seen these two, the Southwest seasoned and the garlic Parmesan. So we're going to give them a live food review right now. So the Dots Southwest seasoned pretzels. Let's see what we have here. Oh, they don't have a big descriptor of it here on the back. Open it, love it, share it, repeat. The Parmesan tells me all about it here on the back. It's just the dot lady on the back of this one. All right, so here's your little trick. Here's your trick here. When you've got like seasoned items like this, turn the bag upside down before you open it, give it a shake. And that helps redistribute some of that seasoning that's settled in the bottoms. The resealable bags, which I really like about Dots as well. All right, live on the channel food review. Having a Saturday, just hanging out. Okay, I don't love the smell. It's kind of barbecue-y a little bit. The Southwest seasoned pretzel twists from Dots. I don't think I like that. Southwest seasoned. Kind of spicy. It's like your uncle's like homemade barbecue blend that you just don't love, but he makes it every time he makes barbecue. I don't think I like that at all. Wow. And I love Dots pretzels, but I do not like, we're going to have one more here. I do not recommend these. I don't like that flavor. The OG Dots are way better. All right, Southwest seasoned Dots are getting a let's see, the scale's 1 to 11. If you don't know, the scale's 1 to 11. 11 is Tom Brady. It's the greatest item of all time. 1 is, well, think of the worst football player you know, and that's number 1. The Dots Homestyle Pretzel Southwest seasoned, they're getting a 5.2. They're going to get a 5.2 here. Let me make sure I write this down so I can add this to my list. 5.2. That is not good. That is not good. I don't like that one. All right, let's see if the garlic Parmesan can redeem the Dots people. Again, seasoned items. Give them a little shake upside down before. Now, don't do this after you've opened the bag because you'll spill it everywhere like I've done before. But before you open it, give it a little shake, redistribute the seasoning. Again, it's another resealable bag. Dots Pretzels is promising me a buttery blend of rich and savory flavor of the Parmesan garlic. Okay. Now that smells like Parmesan garlic. You know, so that's very good right there. Okay. The Parmesan garlic flavor is not overpronounced. There's still a good amount of it. I get, you know what this tastes like? This tastes just like the garlic butter sauce from Papa John's. That's kind of what this tastes like. Okay. This is fine. Again, the regular OG dots, the honey mustard dots are better. But that's a nice step up from the Southwest season. Okay. It's, yeah, not as much garlic. A little bit more butter and Parmesan forward on this one. The Southwest season got a 5.2. Dots, Parmesan garlic, pretzels. You're going to get a 7.3. A 7.3. If you really like garlic Parmesan, you're going to like these. This would be good in a dip, like a creamy, ranchy dip. This would be good. But we're going to go 7.3 on that one. Write that down. So I've been sitting on that for weeks, and I'm very disappointed by the Southwest. I'm going to take that to my buddy's house tomorrow and be like, oh, you guys got to try this. I'm going to tell him I love it. And we're going to be like, you love these? I'm like, nah. I hated them. I might have overrated them at 5.2. I will not ever try those Southwest ones again. Did not like that. Gilly, pancakes or waffles? I like waffles more because they trap the syrup better. I also feel like you get a double texture with waffles because you get a crunchy outside and a nice soft pillowy inside if they're cooked right. But I'm not a pancake hater by any means. Dylan says, came here for the football, stayed for the Fat Man flavor tips. You're absolutely right about that. Dime says, Dots butchered the Voodoo collab. That is unfortunate to hear. I did not try those, but that is unfortunate to hear. Paul wants to know, who do you see the Texans drafting for an offensive guard? Paul, not there yet on draft season. I did talk with John Harris today. I just kind of was picking his brain. Johnny's my favorite guy to talk draft with. And we're talking about running backs. Love this running back class. Johnny loves the running back class too. So there's some fun stuff coming up in the offseason. We will have you totally, wholly covered when it comes to the draft here on YouTube. Going to have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Bubba got Settle stat line. Settle 4 sacks, Edwards 2 sacks, Autry 2 sacks so far. Yeah, they got a lot more to them. A lot more to them. Texans, that's funny. Yeah, that's exactly. I'm going to take both those to my buddies and be like, you guys got to try these. And then they're like, the Southwest ones aren't very good. I'm going to be like, yeah, I know. I was lying. It doesn't cost them any money. It's harmless fun. French toast, not really my favorite. It gets too soggy. So I don't love French toast. But I do love a Monte Cristo sandwich. So, which has obviously French toast elements to it as well. Okay. Let's call that a live stream for today. Let's do some housekeeping here quickly. Housekeeping on this one. Yeah, we've talked about the Monte Cristo on this channel before a ton. Okay. It's a big promise. I don't want to promise it because I don't know if I can deliver it. I would like to go to Bennigan's and have the OG Bennigan's Monte Cristo next year. I would like to go to Bennigan's and go next year and have some OG Monte Cristo. I'm not going to promise I'll do it, but that'd be one hell of a food review right there. As Bennigan's. Genty's going to be gone way before the Texans draft. The Boise State running back way before. There's some Genty-esque players, though, and that's a tease for the offseason as well. Okay. Platinum AC and Heating. Give them a call today. Get your special price for year-round preventative maintenance. 832-777-3683 is the number. Dwayne is the best. He's a Texans fan just like you. He'll talk some ball and get your AC running at its peak performance. Don't forget Prize Picks. We put an entry together earlier on in the show. Play your first 5, get $50 when you use my code Stoots, STOOTS, when you get signed up. That's Stoots, STOOTS. You can buy the wall art that's behind me, the new background. We're going to have a bunch of different pieces of wall art pop up over the next couple of months. You can buy these to make great Christmas. These are one-of-a-kind, individually handmade by yours truly pieces of wall art. The price, the link in the description down below, is all in. That's I'm not charging you shipping. The price is an all in. And in fact, you're getting a special price right now if you want to buy it. If you have a team that you want me to make the card art for, like I made my buddy a Longhorns one, I made a buddy a Texas Tech one, I made a buddy an Astros one. You know, if you have a team, ask me. I'll try to get it made for you. What else am I missing? Go tell Will Kunkel on Kicking It with Kunkel in the comment section. Hey, Will, nice shirt. And what else do we have? Couple questions here before we go. Thoughts on Cheddar's Monte Cristo? The internet rumor is that they bought the recipe from Bennigan's, and that's why it's so good. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do like a Cheddar's Monte Cristo. I also love their broccoli and cheese casserole. Hear me out. If we got a king's ransom for Deshaun, imagine the kingdom we could get for Stroud. Opening offer, 3 firsts, 2 second, and hello, Daniel Jones. Looking at you, G-Men. Get out of here with this. This is awful. This is a terrible idea. Terrible. Awful idea. Hate that. Is Bennigan still around? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Where is the I know there's 2 in Texas. Oh, they have American Fare Irish Hospitality. That's fantastic. They have 2 in Texas. One's in Monahans and one's in Borger. I think Monahans is the closer one because I think I think Borger's up in the Panhandle. Okay, yes. All right, so here's what it is. Monahans is not that far from Midland, Odessa. I got some friends in Midland, Odessa that I'm going to go see next year. I'll try to make it over to Bennigan's. Borger is indeed way up in the Panhandle, I believe. Yeah, Borger's north of Amarillo. Good Lord. Borger's basically in Oklahoma. But yeah, Bennigan's is still around. Stroud is on an expiring clock. Yeah, so this is awful. I'm not even entertaining this. It's a terrible idea. What quarterback do you even want? It's terrible. House of Pies makes a great Monte Cristo. So not immediately around. Correct, Sean, not immediately around. All right, we end the live streams the same way. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out on a Saturday. I know this isn't this, put together, quick as all the other stuff, but we still got Who Better Ball this weekend. We'll get the score prediction video out as well on Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. Have some fun stuff for you Monday night from the Cowboys Stadium after the game. So appreciate everybody's support. You guys are the best. You make this so much fun, and have a blast doing it. So we end the live streams the same way each and every time. I want you to eat good. All right, now hold on. How I always say it. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. And we'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Saturday and a great Sunday and a great Monday ahead of Monday Night Football.